Hey there, just a quick note. This podcast is voiced entirely using AI. Everything else, script, editing, and ideas is made by the creator behind the scenes.
You've entered the voice of Drekoria, the gateway to lost legends, forgotten history, and the cutting edge of technology. From mythical creatures to artificial intelligence, we bring the past and the future together in one epic conversation. Let's begin.
You've accepted the cookies and clicked I agree without reading a thing. Now your toaster knows more about you than your best friend. Welcome to the voice of Drekoria. Let's talk cybersecurity.
Okay, let's unpack this. AI is, well, it's everywhere now, isn't it? Promising all sorts of incredible advancements.
It's absolutely everywhere.
But as it weaves its way deeper into our lives, it brings along some seriously thorny issues, especially around keeping our data safe. Secure.
That's the crux of it.
We've got a stack of information here, and our mission today is, well, to cut through the noise. Highlight what you really need to know about AI, cybersecurity, and data privacy.
Think of it as your express lane.
Exactly. Your express ticket to getting clued up on this vital stuff.
Indeed. And what's fascinating here, I think, is that AI isn't just another tool. It's not just an app.
No, it feels bigger than that.
It really is. It's fundamentally reshaping both the threats we face in cyberspace and the ways we can defend against them.
Right.
And underpinning all of this is that ever-present challenge, protecting personal data in this new AI-driven landscape.
All right, so we're talking about this this intersection, AI, cybersecurity, data privacy, all kind of mashed together. Maybe we should quickly define these core ideas, just so everyone's on the same page.
Good idea. Let's start with cybersecurity. Think of it as keeping digital stuff safe. Your systems, networks, data from theft or damage.
The digital bodyguard, basically.
Kind of, yeah. The key principles are confidentiality, keeping secrets secret. Integrity, making sure data isn't tampered with, and availability, ensuring you can access things when you need them.
Okay.
And it's not just tech. It's also about people, processes, having good security habits.
Got it. So people are part of the system.
Yeah.
Okay, and data privacy, how's that different?
Data privacy focuses specifically on personal data, information that identifies you. It's about handling that data lawfully, fairly, transparently.
Like the rules for handling sensitive info.
Exactly. The big one everyone knows is GDPR in Europe. That's a key example. It sets out strict rules for processing personal data. It's about your rights over your own information.
Right. The handle with care instructions for our data. And then AI, artificial intelligence. That feels huge.
It is broad. Fundamentally, it's about machines performing tasks that normally need human intelligence, like learning, problem-solving, decision-making, understanding language.
Right.
We mostly deal with narrow AI today, systems good at one specific task, like facial recognition or playing chess.
Not the sci-fi killer robots yet, then.
No. General AI or super AI, that human level or beyond intelligence that's still largely theoretical. We're focused on the narrow stuff for now.
Phew. Okay, so narrow AI. Now, you mentioned this intersection isn't just adding these three things together. It creates something new, more complex.
Precisely. AI changes the game. It creates this qualitatively new environment. It's not just a tool within cybersecurity or privacy. It changes the nature of both.
How so?
Well, think about AI's dependence on data. It needs vast data sets to learn, right? Often that data is personal or sensitive.
Which immediately creates privacy challenges.
Exactly. The sheer volume and sensitivity fuel those challenges. And AI's ability to spot complex patterns, that raises another issue.
Like what?
It can sometimes re-identify individuals even from supposedly anonymized data. It finds connections humans would miss.
Whoa, wait. So even if you strip out names, addresses, AI might still figure out who's who just from the remaining patterns.
It's a real risk. It puts traditional anonymization techniques under serious pressure.
That's slightly unnerving.
It is. Yeah. And it blurs definitions too. What is personal data when it's baked into a huge language model? How do you apply rights, like the right to erasure or to be forgotten?
Yeah, how do you delete someone's data if it's part of the AI's core knowledge? You can't just hit delete on a neuron, digital or otherwise.
Exactly. It's incredibly difficult, which highlights why you need an integrated approach. Security and privacy have to be baked in from the start throughout the whole life cycle of the AI system.
Not just bolted on at the end.
Definitely not. And there's this tension too. AI-powered security might need more data, potentially increasing privacy risks.
Right.
But overly strict privacy rules might limit the data available to train effective security AI.
It's a balancing act. A really tricky one.
Finding that balance is absolutely key.
Okay, let's dig into that cybersecurity aspect more. You called AI a double-edged sword. Let's start with the good side. AI is a shield. How's it helping defend us?
AI brings some serious firepower to defense. One major area is enhanced threat detection. Its ability to crunch massive data volumes in real time is incredible.
Finding the needles in the haystack.
Exactly. Spotting complex patterns, anomalies, things that signal an attack, even zero-day attacks, the ones we haven't seen before.
So it's like a superpowered security analyst that never sleeps.
Pretty much. It learns baseline normal behavior for users, systems, networks.
Alright.
Then it flags deviations, that's anomaly detection, or UEBA user and entity behavior analytics. Someone logging in from a weird location at 3 a.m., AI spots it.
And it cuts down on false alarms because those drive security teams crazy.
Yes, it significantly improves accuracy and reduces the noise from false positives, helps teams focus on real threats.
Thank goodness for that. What else? Intrusion detection systems.
Right, IDS. Traditional ones often use fixed signatures. They struggle with new attacks.
And they only know what they've already been told to look for.
Exactly. But AI-based IDS use machine learning models, things like MLPs, CNNs, LSTMs, to dynamically analyze network traffic. They adapt, they learn, much higher accuracy.
So the security system is constantly learning the bad guys' new tricks. Right. Smart. What about malware? Nasty viruses and stuff.
AI is huge there too, both in static analysis, looking at the malware's code and structure,
Like examining its blueprints.
and dynamic analysis, watching its behavior when it runs. Does it try to connect to suspicious servers? AI helps detect new unknown malware variants this way. NLP, natural language processing, even helps by analyzing text associated with threats.
Wow, okay. And SIM systems, security information and event management. I hear that term a lot.
AI and machine learning are giving SIMs a major upgrade. These next-gen SIMs correlate events better, automate alert sorting, reduce false positives, and even perform predictive analysis.
Predicting future threats.
Yeah, identifying potential issues before they happen based on patterns. It turns a flood of security logs into actionable intelligence.
That's incredibly powerful. And network security generally.
Continuous AI analysis of network traffic identifies unusual patterns, unauthorized access attempts, malware spreading, all in real time, like a really smart network cop on patrol 24/7.
Okay, so it spots trouble. What happens then? Can it react?
Yes, automated incident response. AI can take predefined actions instantly upon detecting a threat.
Like what?
Isolating infected systems, blocking malicious IP addresses, applying patches, notifying the human teams.
So it handles the immediate firefight.
Right. It drastically reduces response time, which is critical. It handles the initial stages, freeing up human analysts for the more complex investigation and recovery.
That's a huge efficiency gain. And you mentioned prediction again, analyzing history to predict future attacks.
Yes, analyzing historical data and trends to forecast potential attack vectors and vulnerabilities. It allows for proactive defense, strengthening walls before the attack even begins.
Okay, AI as a shield is seriously impressive. Powerful stuff. But now, the other edge of the sword. AI as a weapon. How are the attackers using it?
Unfortunately, the same power can be turned against us. AI enables attackers to create attacks that are more complex, scalable, highly personalized, and adaptive. Harder to detect, harder to stop.
And you mentioned it lowers the barrier to entry.
Yes, worryingly so.
Yeah.
Attackers don't necessarily need deep technical expertise anymore. They can use readily available AI tools to launch sophisticated attacks. It's sort of democratizing cybercrime.
That's not a comforting thought. Like giving advanced weaponry to petty thieves. What kind of attacks are we seeing boosted by AI?
Phishing and social engineering are prime examples. Large language models, LLMs, and NLP can generate incredibly convincing phishing emails, texts missing, even voice calls phishing.
Flawless grammar. Sounds natural.
Exactly. And highly personalized, using info scraped from social media or data breaches, making them much, much harder to spot than the old clumsy scams.
The days of spotting phishing by the typos might be numbered. And deepfakes.
A major threat: AI-generated realistic audio, video, graphics. Huge potential for fraud. Imagine a fake video call from your CEO authorizing a massive wire transfer.
Terrifying. And easily done.
Getting easier. It can also be used for disinformation, manipulating opinions, impersonation, extortion. The possibilities are grim.
Yikes. And attacks against the AI security systems themselves. Adversarial machine learning?
Yes, AML. Targeting the very models used for defense. One type is data poisoning.
Poisoning the data the AI learns from.
Right. Injecting malicious or misleading data into the training set to compromise the model, introduce biases, create backdoors, or just cause it to misclassify things. Even a small amount can be harmful.
So you trick the AI into learning the wrong lesson.
Essentially. Then there are evasion attacks, creating slightly modified inputs, adversarial examples.
How slight?
Almost indistinguishable to humans, but designed to fool a trained model into making a wrong prediction, like changing a single pixel in an image to make an AI misidentify it.
Wow, that's subtle and dangerous. What else?
Model inversion, trying to recover sensitive training data by analyzing the model's outputs. Membership inference, trying to determine if a specific person's data was in the training set. Both potential privacy breaches.
So attackers are trying to reverse engineer the AI or figure out whose data it trained on?
Exactly. And the black box nature of many complex models where their internal decision-making isn't transparent makes these attacks harder to spot and defend against.
Which really highlights the need for explainable AI, or XAI. We need to understand how these things are thinking.
Absolutely. And robust validation methods are critical. We also see AI being used to automate vulnerability scanning, finding both known and zero-day weaknesses, and even generating malicious code.
Creating new malware on the fly.
Potentially, yes.
Yep.
Generating variants designed to bypass traditional signature-based antivirus. It speeds up the attacker's development cycle.
This sounds like a nightmare. And the OWASP Top 10 for LLMs mentions things like prompt injection. What's that?
Prompt injection specifically targets large language models. Attackers craft special input prompts to trick the LLM into ignoring its safety rules or performing unintended actions.
Like convincing it to reveal sensitive info or run bad code?
Precisely. It's like finding a loophole in the AI's instructions. Other risks include model denial of service, overwhelming the AI with requests to crash it, and model theft, stealing the valuable AI model itself.
It really is an AI arms race, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it feels like the attackers might adapt faster sometimes.
There's an asymmetry. Developing robust, ethical AI defenses takes significant resources, data, and care. Attackers can often leverage existing AI tools more quickly and with fewer constraints, potentially giving them an initial advantage.
And with AI supercharging social engineering like phishing and deepfakes, it really puts the pressure back on the human element, doesn't it?
Absolutely. As technical filters struggle with these advanced, personalized attacks, humans become the weakest link again. User awareness training, vigilance, and strong authentication like MFA become even more critical than ever.
Okay, this is complex. AI as both protector and predator. Now, let's shift focus to the data privacy minefield. AI's impact there seems just as significant.
It really is. The core issue often comes back to AI's thirst for data. Machine learning models especially need vast amounts to train effectively.
And that data is often personal.
Very often. PII, sensitive data like health information, bringing it directly under regulations like GDPR.
So just the need for data creates risk. What about how it's collected and used?
Well, the collection itself can be opaque. Think web scraping without clear consent. And there's always the risk of unsecured or overly sensitive data getting mixed into training sets. The processing by AI can also violate rights if not carefully managed.
And the usage risks.
Data collected for purpose A might get reused for purpose B, C, or D without you ever knowing or agreeing. That violates purpose limitation.
Right.
There's the risk models might remember and regenerate sensitive training data, misuse of AI outputs like deepfakes, and, as we said, re-identification of anonymized data through complex correlations.
It feels like our data could be used in ways we never imagined or consented to. How does this clash with GDPR specifically?
Quite fundamentally. Take data minimization. GDPR says collect only what's necessary. AI often wants everything. Defining necessary for AI training is really tough.
Because more data usually means a better model, right?
Generally, yes. Then there's purpose limitation. Hard to define all future uses of a general purpose AI up front. Consent is another big one.
Getting meaningful consent for complex, opaque AI processing.
Exactly. It needs to be informed, specific, freely given, unambiguous. Tricky for large-scale AI. Relying on legitimate interest is also harder due to the potential risks.
What about accuracy? GDPR demands accurate data.
But AI can inherit inaccuracies from training data or even generate inaccurate outputs itself, those LLM hallucinations.
Right, the AI making stuff up.
Storage limitation, keeping data only as long as needed, also conflicts with AI's need for historical data for retraining and improvement.
Seems like a constant battle.
It is. Transparency is another big one. The black box problem directly contradicts GDPR's requirements, especially regarding automated decisions that significantly affect individuals.
You have a right to know how decisions about you are made.
Precisely. And accountability. The complexity makes it hard for organizations to clearly demonstrate GDPR compliance for their AI systems.
So it feels like traditional GDPR compliance methods are really stretched thin, maybe even broken by some aspects of AI.
That's a fair assessment. It might require rethinking GDPR interpretations, wider use of privacy-enhancing technologies, or accepting some AI uses just aren't compatible with current rules. Traditional consent or simple anonymization often aren't enough anymore.
What about our specific rights under GDPR, like the right to be forgotten? How does that work with AI?
It's extremely difficult. If your data is deeply embedded in a trained model's parameters, just deleting the original training file might not cut it.
The AI still knows what it learned from your data.
Effectively, yes. Retraining huge models without specific data points is often prohibitively expensive and impractical. There's research into machine unlearning, but it's early days, complex, and has limitations.
So, erasing your data from AI is a massive technical challenge. What about correcting inaccuracies or accessing your data within the model?
Similar challenges for rectification, and providing meaningful access to data woven into a model's structure or the logic behind its decisions about you. It's unclear how to do that effectively.
It's not like pulling up a simple database record.
Not at all. And the right to object to purely automated decisions relies on transparency that's often missing.
So these fundamental rights risk being weakened in practice unless we find solutions.
That's the concern. It's a serious challenge to individual control over personal data. And this brings us to the ethical dimensions, which are huge.
Like bias.
Exactly. AI models learn from data, and if that data reflects societal biases, race, gender, age, socioeconomic status, the AI will likely learn, perpetuate, and even amplify those biases.
Garbage in, garbage out, but potentially discriminatory garbage.
Precisely. Bias can also creep in through algorithm design or how results are interpreted. This can lead to unfair outcomes in critical areas: hiring, credit, healthcare, law enforcement.
And defining fairness for an algorithm is complicated in itself.
Very. Different mathematical definitions of fairness can even contradict each other. Then there's transparency and explainability. The black box issue is a major ethical hurdle. It undermines trust and accountability.
If we can't see how it works, how can we trust it's fair?
Right. And as AI becomes more autonomous, questions arise about human control. How much oversight do we need, especially for high-stakes decisions?
Tackling bias seems like it needs more than just technical tweaks.
Oh, absolutely. It requires diverse development teams, inclusive data collection practices, regular audits, critical assessment of where AI is deployed. It's a deep socio-technical problem.
And quickly, data residency. With AI being global,
Big challenge. AI development in cloud platforms often span borders. Managing cross-border data transfers while complying with GDPR and other localization laws is complex.
A global technology meeting fragmented national rules. Okay, so clearly we need rules and standards. What's happening on the regulatory front?
There's an urgent push globally. The landscape is evolving fast, with different regions taking different paths. In Europe, GDPR is still the foundation for personal data, including AI processing. Authorities are issuing guidance.
But GDPR wasn't designed specifically for AI.
Correct, which is why the EU AI Act is so significant. Adopted in 2024, it's the first comprehensive horizontal law specifically regulating AI.
Horizontal meaning it cuts across different sectors.
Yes, it uses a risk-based approach, 4 categories. Unacceptable risk exposure. These are banned, like manipulative AI or social scoring by governments.
Okay.
High-risk systems in critical areas like medical devices, critical infrastructure, employment, law enforcement. These face stringent requirements.
Like what kind of requirement?
Risk management systems, high-quality training data, technical documentation, logging capabilities, transparency, human oversight, accuracy, robustness, and crucially, cybersecurity. Article 15 specifically mandates resilience against attacks.
So security is built right into the high-risk requirements.
Definitely. Then there's limited risk things like chatbots or deepfakes, where transparency obligations apply. You need to know you're interacting with AI or seeing generated content. And minimal no risk, most AI systems fall here with no specific new obligations.
That sounds comprehensive. What are the potential impacts or criticisms?
It could set a global standard, the Brussels effect, but there are concerns it might stifle innovation, especially for smaller companies due to compliance costs. And some terms lack precise technical definitions yet, which could create uncertainty until standards are harmonized.
The classic regulation versus innovation balancing act. What about the US or China?
The U.S. has a more fragmented, sector-specific approach. Different agencies regulate AI in their domains, often emphasizing innovation alongside risk management. Lots of state-level action, too. China takes a stricter, more centralized approach focused on state control, ethics aligned with state values, and stability. They often require registration and assessments for certain AI models.
Very different philosophies. So it's a complex global picture.
Yeah.
Beyond laws, are there important standards?
Yes. ISO WAIS 42001 is the first international standard for an AI management system, AIMS. It provides a framework to manage AI risks ethically and securely, complementing ISO 27001 for security.
A structured way to manage AI within an organization.
Exactly. There's also the OWASP-BI Security and Privacy Guide, and their top 10 for LLM's great open source resources. And ENISA, the EU Cybersecurity Agency, has developed frameworks like the FAICP covering the AI lifecycle.
So resources are emerging. But how effective is all this regulation and standardization proving?
It's challenging. Regulatory fragmentation makes it complex for global companies. Technology often outpaces the law. Practical implementation of broad principles is hard, and finding that right balance between innovation and risk remains the core challenge.
It feels like we're building the regulatory plane while flying it. Given all this, what are the practical best practices organizations should focus on right now for secure, responsible AI?
A holistic approach across the entire AI lifecycle is essential. It starts with secure AI development, integrating security and privacy from day one. Shift left.
Security by design, privacy by design.
Exactly. Applying DevSec's principles, collaboration, automation of security testing in CI/CD pipelines, secure coding practices, training developers on AI-specific risks, using risk assessment to prioritize efforts.
Building security in, not bolting it on. What about technical safeguards? Protecting the core asset.
Absolutely. Strong access control, least privilege, role-based access control, RBAC, multi-factor authentication, MFA, encryption for data and models, both at rest and in transit, data and model integrity checks, secure storage and processing environments.
Basic cyber hygiene, but applied rigorously to AI assets. And specific AI attack mitigations.
Yes. For data poisoning, strict data validation, anomaly detection and inputs, robust training methods, access control audits. For evasion attacks, adversarial training, detection techniques. For model inversion inference, data perturbation, reducing confidence scores, data minimization, PETs, synthetic data.
PDTs, privacy-enhancing technologies. Let's talk more about those.
Right. PDTs aim to extract value while minimizing privacy risks. Examples include federated learning.
Training models on decentralized data without moving the raw data.
Yes. Benefits privacy, reduces data transfer, but has challenges like communication overhead and security of the aggregation process. There's homomorphic encryption.
Computing on encrypted data. Sounds like magic.
It's computationally expensive and complex, but offers strong data in use privacy. Differential privacy adds statistical noise to protect individuals. Zero knowledge proofs let you prove something without revealing underlying data. Secure multi-party computation allows joint calculations on private data. And synthetic data, artificially generated data mimicking real patterns.
A whole toolkit of privacy-preserving techniques. Are they a silver bullet?
Not quite. They often involve trade-offs, privacy versus accuracy, security versus performance, best used in combination for layered defense. We still need better standards for interoperability and trust.
So powerful tools, but need careful implementation. What about fundamental data management and consent?
Still critical. Clear data governance policies for AI are essential. Robust, transparent consent mechanisms, especially for sensitive uses, ensuring data quality and integrity, managing data residency effectively.
The foundations still matter, and ethical frameworks.
Crucial. Adopting responsible AI principles. Fairness, transparency, explainability, accountability, reliability, privacy, human oversight. Actively mitigating bias through diverse data, testing diverse teams. Using XAI techniques. Maintaining human control, especially for high-risk systems. Establishing ethical review boards or processes.
So it's a combination of tech, process, policy, and ethics.
Absolutely. And remember, strong governance and secure development underpin everything. Weak foundations undermine even the best tech. There are always trade-offs between desired properties like privacy and accuracy, and it requires a cultural shift, making security and privacy everyone's job.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot to take in.
So what does this all mean? We've seen AI is this fascinating paradox, really.
Definitely.
It's a potent defender spotting threats we might miss, yet it also empowers attackers with new levels of sophistication.
A double-edged sword indeed.
And threading through all of this is the critical imperative. Safeguard personal data in a world increasingly shaped by these intelligent systems.
Here's where it gets really interesting, I think. This isn't a static picture, is it? The AI landscape is constantly shifting.
Constantly.
And the lines between attack and defense, innovation and privacy risk, they're getting, well, blurrier, more nuanced.
They really are.
For you, the listener, getting a handle on these dynamics isn't just about staying informed. It's about being prepared for the challenges and, the opportunities that lie ahead.
This raises an important question, maybe the key question. As AI continues to evolve at this incredible pace, how will our very understanding of privacy and security need to adapt alongside it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It's something we'll all be grappling with, I suspect. Individuals, companies, governments, everyone.
Exactly. And on that note, here's something to chew on. With AI getting better and better at personalizing things, even predicting our behavior, what new ethical dilemmas might pop up, things we haven't even fully considered yet.
That's a deep thought to end on.
Definitely food for thought. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
Loved what you heard? There's more waiting for you in our Discord community. From fantasy world building and 3D creations to AI, storytelling, and future legends. Drekoria is more than a podcast. It's a world you can be part of.